Breaking: Pentagon just terminated Trey Gowdy's grasp on Hillary Clinton. The Clintons have obviously mastered the tactic running out the clock. A tactic they've used over and over and over again since 1978, when Bill Clinton became the youngest governor of Arkansas, and it's occurring that Democrats have been using that exact political tactic of delay, hinder, detain and slow down the investigation on the terror attacks of September 11, 2012, in Benghazi, Libya, with the hope of running out the clock. However, Congressman Gowdy isn't someone easily intimidated or influenced into ending the investigation even before it started until every rock is overturned, perhaps to the dismay of those Democrats sitting on the committee and no doubt with the Obama White House. The false alarm once again raised by Clinton operatives was the original agreed timeline of 2 years, by House Selection Committee in completing the investigation. The main cause of an irritated Gowdy to respond in a fierce letter to Defense Secretary Ash Carter, putting accent on both the Pentagon chief and one of his top lieutenants, intentionally mischaracterizes both the nature of the committee's investigation and its interaction with the Department of Defense. Gowdy added, "It is also riddled with factual inaccuracies, which not only does a disservice to the public but also does a disservice to the women and men who work for the Department of Defense. Your staff is welcome to waste taxpayer dollars writing partisan, factually deficient letters to our committee, coordinate the language with House Democrats, and then leak it to the media. That is your prerogative." There's little doubt that the American people with a glimpse are realizing how corrupt and deceitful our government has become, to the point of attempting to cover up even the murder of 4 brave Americans tasked with protecting America's interest and then being betrayed by those tasked with protecting them, and then stating, "What difference does it make?" Celebrities with an ultimatum to Trump: resign or we are leaving. Hollywood despises Trump. Threats surfaced that some of the group will leave the state if he becomes the first man of USA, but of course afterwards it proved to be a shameful statement. However, they are back with another threat, a massive, all-round Hollywood strike unless Trump withdraw from the position he won. Hollywood, self-proclaimed as the base of the entire modern American culture and the group who started it, are saying they are speaking on behalf of all of humanity. Watch below the spokesperson's words from the group. "It's about time people understood that we're the ones with the power and that the president is there to serve us, not the other way around. We are calling for a general strike that would include every single person involved in making motion pictures in Hollywood, starting with the actors and celebrities themselves and encompassing companies in charge of making props, movie memorabilia and even souvenir shops." Rosie O'Donnell, Deborah Messing, Ed Asner and Michael Shannon are one of the loudest of the group of artists, entertainers, and activists who are calling for a month-long protest to stop Donald Trump. "No. In the name of humanity we refuse to accept a fascist America. Donald Trump, the president-elect, is assembling a regime of grave danger. Millions of people in the U.S. and around the world are filled with deep anxiety, fear and disgust. Our anguish is right and just. Our anger must now become massive resistance, before Donald Trump is inaugurated and has the full reins of power in his hands," the message of full-page ad placed in the New York Times by the group Refuse Racism. Some Hollywood celebrities are calling for an all-out strike involving the entire movie industry in order to force Trump to resign, according to You Conservative. "We're calling for a general strike that would include every single person involved in making motion pictures in Hollywood, starting with the actors and celebrities themselves and encompassing companies in charge of making props, movie memorabilia and even souvenir shops. It's about time people understood that we're the ones with the power and that the president is there to serve us, not the other way around," a spokesperson for the Refuse Racism group said. When asked why Hollywood out of all the industries is being targeted, he briefly said, "Hollywood is, simply put, the base of the entire modern American culture. It is the foundation of the country, so to speak, the glue that's holding it together. And think about what happens when you destroy the foundation of a house. it comes crashing down, right? Well, that's exactly what's going to happen to America unless Donald Trump realizes how real the danger of that actually is, and chooses to step down as president of his own free will. And while we're on the subject, between you and me, nobody wants Hollywood to stop doing its thing, but this is a necessary move. Besides, it's not like the billionaire businessman turned president hadn't ventured into movies in his day, right? So, he'll understand firsthand what's going to happen if Hollywood goes to strike. Without the work of Hollywood and the lifestyle promoted by it, there will literally be no more America to rule for Trump. So, in effect, it's not us that are going to force Donald Trump to resign his office, it's the people of America who are going to make him do it, because the God's honest truth is, without Hollywood, there is no America. It's like trying to run Nazi Germany without Hitler at the forefront, it just becomes pointless. Obama's tax skipping audit shows millions in offshore accounts. Liberals didn't hesitate to attack Donald Trump regarding his tax returns, but they seem to look away when it comes to their messiah, former President Barack Obama. Now, it looks like the last bit of Obama's legacy is about to be destroyed with one of the most controversial stories of the last decade showing that royalty payments for Obamacare to the sum of $411 million has been paid by the U.S. Treasury to 3 offshore, tax haven, accounts under the name of Barry Soetoro, LCC. Few people know it, but when the liberal Congress of 2010 passed the Obamacare bill without even reading it, a percentage of the proceeds was automatically routed to the bill's author, Barack Obama, to cover expenses and royalties associated with naming the bill. Reportedly, after the bill was renamed the Affordable Care Act, these payments were officially stopped, reports Freedom's final stand. Despite Obama having denied many times the existence of the alias Barry Soetoro, the evidence show that someone behind the naming of Obamacare is clearly called Barry Soetoro. The payments that came from the U.S. Treasury were divided into 3 offshore accounts spread across the Cayman Islands, Ireland, and Caledonia. By transferring his money there, Obama found a way to skip paying more than $170 million in taxes that were apparently used to provide all of the free stuff he gave to the inner city folks so they'd re-elect him in 2012. Because of all of that, he ran up a deficit higher than any president in history and quadrupled our debt. The question is, who is this Barry Soetoro? It is clearly someone of influence who has, so far, successfully avoided paying taxes on the money in the U.S. That's almost $170 million in unpaid taxes. We need answers to this now. Sarah Palin will sue the New York Times after they crossed the line. People, this post is very serious and I want all of you to pay attention. First of all, I want to tell you that we live in a society of double talk. Double standards, that's the primal liberal ideal. These people are absolutely irrational and extremely manipulative. Right Forever has thousands of posts and analysis about who the liberal elites are, but this time it's too hard to swallow, it's too hard to write on this topic. The topic is, Sarah Palin is suing New York Times after the Ultimate Liberal magazine accused Sarah Palin for the Tucson shootout in 2011 when Jared Lee Lawler killed 9 people and shot Gabrielle Giffords. Believe it or not, the Liberal magazine, just like CNN and the other mainstream media channels, defends the attackers. They think that if there is someone to blame for political propaganda, agitation for violence and negative influence to the public, that's Sarah Palin. Can you believe this? No judgment for the liberal leftists and their propaganda sick to the bone. They divided this nation, they use violence, they preach violence, their rhetoric is violent. Just look at Kathy Griffin, Rachel Maddow, Colbert, etc. Just look at them. They are violent, non-tolerant, they use heavy insults and they even say in public how much they want Republicans dead. And it published the unthinkable. They decided to attack Sarah Palin out of all of those sick liberal psychopaths. In 2011, when Jared Leelauner opened fire in a supermarket parking lot, grievously wounding Representative Gabby Giffords and killing 6 people, including a 9-year-old girl, the link to political incitement was clear. Before the shooting, Sarah Palin's Political Action Committee circulated a map of targeted electoral districts that put Ms. Giffords and 19 other Democrats under stylized crosshairs. This is what the editors wrote, according to D.C. At-night opinion, common sense suggestion by a journalist. Am talking to attorneys this AM and exploring options. BTW, Wonder. pic.twitter.com web link. Sarah Palin, at Sarah Palin USA, June 15, 2017. I am very sad. This woman deserves better treatment from the media. Maybe this is nothing for some of you, but this is a huge insult. This is a punch against the American journalism, justice, morale. They underestimated our intellectual capacity once again. Blackmail on Capitol Hill. I don't know what they have, but they have something on someone. There were quite a few computer and internet-related scandals surrounding the presidential candidates this election. There is one scandal that is being revisited now. It involves the penetration of computer systems used by Democratic congressmen by IT specialists who were in their employ. The review of this scandal says that 4 former House IT workers, who were banned from the congressional network, have been accused of data theft. We're talking about Imran Awan and his 3 relatives, who were co-workers until the police banned them from computer networks at the House of Representatives after suspicion the brothers accessed congressional computers without permission. The IT specialists who are working in Congress seem a little bit too loyal to these former employees who hacked their systems. That's something that needs to be investigated. Pat Soares, who has been in IT for several House offices for 12 years said. I don't know what they have, but they have something on someone. It's been months at this point with no arrests. Something is rotten in Denmark. This might involve some kind of blackmail. However, according to reports, the Awan crew has been accused of stealing equipment from members' offices without their knowledge and committing serious, potentially illegal, violations on the House IT network. They might know something that could send some congressmen to prison. A manager at a tech services company that works with Democratic House offices said. There's no question about it, if I was accused of a tenth of what these guys are accused of, they'd take me out in handcuffs that same day, and I'd never work again. Awan was first employed by Democratic Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida in 2005. After her disastrous hack, she renamed Awan an advisor to circumvent the Capitol Police's computer network ban on the brothers. Another Democrat's IT said members are saying don't say anything, this will all blow over if we all don't say anything. The Awans had members in their pocket, and there are a lot of members who could go down over this. The Awan group is blackmailing some powerful government officials, so this means they have evidence that should be kept secret from everyone. If Awan and his crew go down, it is reasonable to assume they are going to take a bunch of Democratic congressmen with them.